This episode of Black Equity Podcast is brought to you by Sip and Share Wines. Head over to sipandsharewines.com to learn more. Welcome, Black Equity listeners. I came across this article on charlotteobserver.com that says Bank of America agrees to pay $4.2 million over alleged discrimination against minority applicants. It says here Bank of America agrees to pay $4.2 million in back wages and interest after the U.S. Department of Labor found alleged hiring discrimination against minority job applicants. This is from the Labor Department, announced last Friday. Routine compliance evaluations by the Labor Department's Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs allege that the Charlotte-based bank discriminated against Black, Latino, and female applicants seeking phone representative, mortgage underwriter, sales specialist, and other positions. So it led me to wonder, is it time for us to really consider banking Black? I came across another article recently about the fastest growing fintech Black-owned banking company in the United States. And I think it's time for us to have a conversation about banking Black and what does it really mean? Let's get into it. All right, Black Equity listeners, we are here for another great episode of the Black Equity Podcast. I'm really excited about this conversation. A couple weeks ago, I came across an article that was talking about the fastest growing Black-owned bank. And so I was trying to find out, well, what's going on? What is this? Because usually I know about these types of opportunities, but I had no idea what was going on. And so I have the opportunity today to speak with the CEO of Grind Banking, BC Silver. BC, are you there?
I am here.
Welcome to Black Equity. How are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, Grind Banking.
Yeah, sure. The company is much more interesting than I. But my name's BC Silver. I'm really honored to be here today to connect with you. I will say this is our first actual podcast because we wanted to talk to you first. So super stoked about it, and
Appreciate that.
A great conversation. A little bit about myself. I'm your, I guess you would call it an unusual entrepreneur. So originally got an MBA about 18 years ago. Then from my MBA, competed at the National Black MBA Case Competition, got recruited by Procter & Gamble. It was within their organization for almost 10 years. Moved up the ranks there. After Procter, moved on to Clorox, Mars. Had wonderful stints in CPG. Then I was recruited by a headhunter to move over to, and I was exposed to just such a wonderful space. And so I love technology. I've always been a techie and kind of an early adopter. Mm-hmm. And so I was excited to be in a new sector. And then, what I started to notice was that the space was really void of support and the love that I felt the community needed. And so I felt, it was time. It was time to do something on my own. I was blessed to have a wonderful team that was going to join me. And so, we were committed to launching something great and introducing, Grind Banking.
Nice. So for those that are listening, they may have heard of Grind Banking before. They may not have. What is or who is Grind Banking?
Well, one, if they haven't heard about it, I would not be shocked and I would not be hurt. Grind Banking, we're new to the game and new to the industry. Grind Banking is a 100% Black-owned Grind Banking or banking solution. So if you think of, if you've ever heard of fintech, so what that means is like financial technology. So any of the companies, i.e., like Chime, Rush Card, you name it.
Right.
There are mobile banks that exist out there that don't have your traditional brick and mortar buildings, but because of that, they can operate solely digitally. They have better cost structures, but you know you can open up a banking account and do exactly the same things that you could do at your classic big box, more or less like the Bank of America's, Chases, and Wells Fargo's. But you know, we created a product that's a debit card first and foremost.
Okay.
So it's not a prepaid card; it's a debit card that's FDIC insured. It has a mobile app, and you can manage all of your online transactions there. It's fully integrated with PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. You get paid 2 days early. We have live customer service. I really wanted to build a solution that I felt the community needed and deserved. And so that's really, I wanted to design a best-in-class product, not just another, bank,
Right.
not just another banking solution, and not just, I didn't want people to join just because it was solely because it was Black owned, but I wanted people to join because they had a phenomenal experience. One thing, and then I'll kind of hand it back off to you for your next question. But I think the one thing, the relationship with your money is so important, and it's so important because it's what you work so hard for. It's how we survive, and it's personal.
Yes.
And so, I take that commitment, and my team takes that commitment to the utmost sincerity and as well as commitment. And so we wanted to make a product that was phenomenal, that people had just great experiences, because when you make money, it better be
That's
there.
right.
And your car better work. And if you ever have any issues, you want to be able to talk to somebody. And so, those were all must-haves versus nice-to-haves.
I like it. So I know someone's listening right now, and they're saying, there's so many banking solutions out here, and you're saying, we're going to offer a solution. So what does your bank do that maybe others aren't able to do, or what are you doing better that solves a root problem for the consumer or for the client?
Yeah. Well, I would say, I guess permission to speak, honestly.
Sure.
Is it okay?
Of course. Let's do it.
I think the reality is most top tier banking solutions are all the same.
I agree.
And so you essentially move your money into a debit account. It sits there and it kind of waits for you to make a transaction. And then you make that transaction wherever you are, whether it's online or in store. But most top-tier banking solutions are the same. We know we're a top-tier banking solution. But more specifically, I think what makes us unique is, one, at the DNA and at our core, we are the community. And what I mean more specifically by that is, I was an orphan. I grew up in Atlanta. And I was a direct product of a lot of the social programs and the social system, like almost programming that the system was intended to design or create. So I was a direct byproduct of that. So if it wasn't for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and a lot of other just great programs, I wouldn't be where I am. And so because of that upbringing, I feel like I have a closer connection as a CEO and an owner to the community.
Right.
One. Two, all of the other banking solutions, whether it's a national or most of the national, are not Black owned.
Very true.
And because of that, I think, I have a different level of understanding as well as commitment to making sure I bring as many people along with me as I possibly can. I think then beyond that, if we want to get down to a benefit
Sure.
standpoint, there are tons of things that are actually better from an actual product
Sure.
standpoint.
Let's do it.
So, a few different things. One, most of the fintech banks that you will interact with now don't have customer service.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of PayPal or Cash App or you name it, if you want to speak to someone, it's virtually impossible.
Yep.
You have to email, you have to write smoke signals, you have to do everything in order for you to simply get a call back or response to your money.
And wait 7 to 10 days or whatever crazy.
7 to 10 days. And I don't know about you, but when I need to make a transaction, it may not be 7 to 10 days from now.
Right.
And so, when I say connected, but also customer service. Beyond that, there are cool feature functionalities, whether it's freeze capability. So if you can't find your card, but you know you didn't lose it, but you can't find it, but you know it's in your car somewhere, it's in your other pair of pants, you can freeze your card, and then it gives you time to make sure no fraudulent transactions are happening.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you can unfreeze it when you find it and when you do finally locate it. Also, from a feature functionality standpoint, the fact that you get paid 2 days early.
Yeah, that's big.
Is a huge benefit. So, when your coworkers are getting paid on Friday and you get paid on Wednesday, you're feeling like a champ already. And so that's another great solution to or byproduct to using.
Now I know you can't. I know you can't give us the secret sauce on that, but
okay.
But how is that possible? How?
Yeah. So I guess I can't give you too much.
I know. But
what I would say is it's largely due to the infrastructure and the amount of volume that we have coming through the rails. And so, due to the fact that we are closer to our customers,
gotcha.
we are connected to you. I know who our first customer was. I know who our 100th customer was. Wow. We're just more closely connected. We can process and understand and verify funds within the distributing account much quicker than a larger. A less connected bank.
And that's the power of technology. That's the power of items like or features like a blockchain or being in fintech, is being able to have that close connection with the end user.
Absolutely, you nailed it. So as I mentioned, customer service 24/7. Have a really great mobile app to actually access your money, see how your account's looking at any time. Fraud protection, it is FDIC insured up to $250,000, so you'll see that a lot no matter which bank you go to. That's from a policy standpoint, but it is insured. It's high functioning. You also have really cool cards. So when I used to join other banks. I got tired of the same old red card, a blue card, a maroon card. I used to fall asleep looking at those things. And so I wanted, some cards that had a little bit more swag, a little bit cooler cards that represented me. So, when you join Grind, you have the option of choosing what card design or what card color you prefer. You also can choose your plan, so you can choose whether you want to pay 0 monthly fees or whether you prefer to pay a monthly fee. If you plan on doing more transactions, that's probably the smarter route, more cost efficient, and you'll save yourself money. But even when you pay that monthly fee, it's still half the cost of what it would be if you bank with some of the bigger banks, whether it's Bank of America or Chase. They have like almost $15 on average is about the ballpark.
Sounds about right.
And so that's if you don't have $1 million sitting there. If you have $1 million sitting in your bank account, you don't have to pay the fee. But if you don't, at a certain point, if you get too low, then they'll charge you $15 So we charge half of that. And so we're trying every way we can to help you save money, manage your money more effectively, and feel great about doing it.
Who do you think is the ideal person to be using this? Is it more of the younger generation who wants that freedom away from, the big box retailer or the big box bank? Or is it maybe someone who's more sophisticated and just wants to switch things up of how they are banking? Or is it a mixture of both?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a mixture of both. I would say to me, I think it's more about the mind state. So if you want to keep more of your money, you should be using our bank.
Gotcha.
And what I mean more specifically by that is because we don't charge overdraft fees, we don't charge a lot of the fees that you'll see from a traditional bank. You save yourself so much more money by not being taxed that extra $35 every time you have an overdraft fee.
Right.
Or, as I mentioned already, you're paying 2x out of the gate every month for a traditional bank account. And so if you want a great product and you want to save yourself money and you want to keep more of the money, more of your hard-earned money, I would say it's for you. And I think that somewhat spans any age or, in some cases, any demographic or, anyone. So I would say, hopefully that answers your question.
It definitely does. When I think about, first being introduced to your company and the product, I'm thinking to myself, this is a really great opportunity for us to really shift. What I've noticed is I try to start the process of quote unquote banking black about 6 months ago. And it may have been one of the most difficult processes I've ever had. Here's why. Every time I try to contact someone, if it wasn't within my state, then they were, giving me a tough time with, the process of, working with them or trying to open up a business account and, having other features. For you, is this something that is available all 50 states? Everybody can use it, or is there any restrictions that we should be aware of?
Let's see. To answer your question, yes. It's a debit MasterCard, so you can actually use it anywhere MasterCard is accepted.
Okay.
And so not only can you use it in the States, but you can also use it outside the
Okay.
States. And yeah, so we're here for everyone.
Gotcha.
So, whether no matter what state you're in, no matter what borough, what city, what county, the card works. You don't have to second guess that. You don't have to worry about, do you accept? You don't have to worry about that question. A lot of that came from it being a prepaid card.
Exactly.
And so a prepaid card has additional restrictions that a debit card wouldn't have, partly because of the fraud risk that the bank would have to carry. Without getting too deep into that, what I would just say is, because we're not a prepaid card and because we're a bank account and a debit account, it operates just like any other debit account. So, when I travel to New York or Chicago or Atlanta, I never have to worry about whether, my Grind banking card works because it does.
Right. I remember when I was studying what was happening with Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. He kept talking about Vector 90, and I even have an episode earlier this year, talking about what does it really mean for the marathon to continue. Now, I'm seeing that you are in some way working alongside Vector 90, or you come from that umbrella. Tell us a little bit more about Vector 90 and how Grind Banking relates with Vector 90.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I think this is one of the things I'm most passionate about I typically try to speak more specifically towards the bank and the function and the card,
Mm-hmm.
and not lead with
Of
that.
course.
But it is something that's near and dear to my heart and near and dear to who we are from a core fundamental standpoint. What I would say is Nipsey was one of the dopest and greatest guys you could ever be in a room with, you could be connected to, etc. And so what I would say is we weren't we were already somewhat heading down the path of the concept. And so once I heard that there was, this very sharp group, this brother, as well as great business partners and just a core of like-minded folks, doing something different, which was almost groundbreaking to me to think about. Man, so there's a shared workspace or STEM facility in the hood,
Yeah.
like this is incredible,
Right.
And so I had to see it, join immediately, and what I would say is, so became a part of that family, and so what I would say is, what's unique about it, when Nipsey was alive as well as even now, his spirit is still present in the space. The space is still strong, proud, confident. And so when you say the marathon continues, I hope folks take it more than it's just a hashtag or a slogan.
Of course.
It truly means that this path that he was championing, other folks have been championing at the same time. And so we need to join forces. We need to unify. Because like so many kings, there were other kings that came before,
Mm-hmm.
and so we do our best to hold the post while we can, and to inspire. And oh boy, did he ever inspire! So what I'd say is I'm very proud to be a part of the Vector 90 family, and what you'll see coming out of that. That brilliant, almost think tank is a ton of other great leaders, a ton of other great products, a ton of other great creative solutions that I can't even begin to tell you about.
Right.
But what I would say is, beyond inspiration and hope, you have people that are truly on their grind, truly making it happen and committed to helping the community. And part of one of the biggest things, so you asked me earlier in terms of what makes us different. We're headquartered out of Vector 90. We also plan on bringing jobs back to our neighborhoods, back to South Central LA, and also to other inner cities around the country. So you'll see that coming soon out of us. Since this is our first podcast, you can hold me to it. I'll come back.
I'm paying attention.
Many times.
I'm watching.
And it is who I am and it is who we are. You can trust that out of us. And so, that's the other thing that makes us great. Is, as I was mentioning, when you say customer service, we'll be opening up call centers in inner cities around the country. So as our volume grows and our customer base grows, we'll have people on hand domestically that can solve whatever problem you may have, and just know that without any question that those people will be located in neighborhoods around the country, supporting other like-minded individuals.
And was that a conscious decision to say, hey, let's focus on creating jobs in these areas instead of, shipping these jobs overseas?
Absolutely.
And what?
Because that mean what you just mentioned there, it's twofold, right? Mm-hmm. It's one, keeping jobs domestic.
Right.
Right. And so, of course, if I wanted to, I could have built the construct where, those jobs were located in India or China or some other place. Not that there's anything wrong with those people, because they're phenomenal people, but we need help here in the country, and it's time for banks to stop giving lip service about wanting to support the community. And even other brands and companies and businesses that are that want to win with that customer. We have to vote with our dollar. We have to put our money where our mouth is, and not only that, we have to give people opportunities to get better jobs, other opportunities, training, and the chance to live the true American dream.
I agree. So what is the long-term vision for Grind Banking? Where are we looking at, 5 or 10 years down the line? I know, we have to be careful with competitors and all that great stuff, but where are we headed? I know it's recently launching, but where do you see this going?
Yeah, I think, without being, without, spilling too much of the beans,
Mm-hmm.
but what I would say is 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and 20 years from now,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that we are exactly the same organization that we are today, which is being closely connected to our individual customers who are real people,
Mm-hmm.
and connected to our community. And so I don't have any other aspiration than to stay true to form and to stay true to who we are.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I mean, because if you have that relational, what I call relational equity, where you have that type of relationship with the end user, then you'll always know what they're needing. And so by having that, understanding, additional products or different additional services can be put in place because you actually know, hey, this is what everybody's asking for. This is where we're headed. Let's make sure that we're providing, that key, that key element that they're requesting.
Now, I've been talking about Sip and Share wines for quite some time. Now you have a chance to enter for a free giveaway. The Conjurer bottle, which is the Old Vine Zinfandel, is now available for a free giveaway. Here's how you enter. You follow Sip and Share Wines over on Instagram. That's Sip and Share Wines. You like the post that is tagged giveaway, and you tag at least 5 friends. Comment below that post and share with us your favorite red wine. Now, for a bonus entry, tag 2 more friends with an additional comment. This giveaway closes October 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Winner will be announced on November 1st in the Sip and Share Wine story with a direct message. By entering, participants confirm they are of the age of 21 or older, open to U.S. residents only. Now, back to the show.
What types of ways is technology going to be leveraged as you move forward with the company over the next few years? Without obviously telling us everything, but what ways can technology, as being the forefront, help the end user?
Yeah, I think in many ways, and technology can, helping make certain predatory practices on our community obsolete. So
Right.
if you think a lot of whether it's the payday loans or check advances or
Mm-hmm.
bill pay locations or any of those things are absolutely crippling to our community. One, because the interest, the fees that they charge, the percentages, if you start out with a lot of money, you'll have half of it when it's all said and done.
Right.
So one, I think it's making some of those subpar solutions obsolete. One, two, I would say it's a buzzword that everyone talks about, which is financial literacy.
Yes.
But same thing like bringing jobs to the community. We plan on putting technology where our hearts are. So beyond just saying it, hopefully you'll see a product pipeline of innovation of solutions that help you not only manage your money in a more cost-effective way, but also tools that help you develop stronger financial literacy, more financial confidence, and more financial freedom. So hopefully you'll see that as well. Then what I would also say is, continue to, from a credit standpoint, helping people, live comfortable lives and live in an environment where we are at par, if not better, than where we are today. I think it's very important to make sure you have tools that can help you establish credit, learn more, understand how to manage your money, and then also set you up for success so you automatically are not being gouged for basic functionality.
The more that you and I are talking about this, I really see, the possibilities that if our culture shifted over and said, hey, forget those other banks. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but forget those other banks. Let's go over here. That could really change the balance of power. And so, have you thought about, if the culture decides to shift over and wake up and see this as an opportunity to really take back our power, the amount of opportunity that's going to be for us to really, play the game that we want to play on a large scale.
Yeah, no, I don't, I've always looked up to, Martin Luther King, or, I'm from Atlanta. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely had, I was inspired by him, in many ways, and Malcolm X as well. But I would say I definitely have a dream of seeing that for our people. I definitely had a vision and a hope that, our community will see what we're doing, notice it, give us a shot, and watch us, and watch us actually do the things that we talk about so many times. Yeah, I definitely have that. I have that hope, and I have that. I can see it happening, and I believe it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's this new energy and this new wave that's happening. That and I see it happening across not only banking, but I see it whether it's hair care products, whether I see it across clothing, or you name the category. I see it starting to kind of take its starting to build momentum. And so what I would say is it's a new energy and a new renaissance that I feel is happening right now.
I agree.
And I feel very confident and very bullish that that people will join us along, and not even people, our family is going to join us along this journey. If I didn't feel that way, I wouldn't have done it. So
yeah, it's a no-brainer. A lot of times on the podcast, what we talk about is solving root problems and getting to the root of something. And there's nothing more rooted than making sure you have access to the very funds that right now many people have handed over to people that they don't even have any type of relationship with. They just handed over their money to these banks, and this is a root problem that you guys are solving. And so it is a no-brainer for me. I already know what I'll be doing pretty soon is opening up an account and working with you. So that's, that's without question. So with you solving this root problem, I'm really excited. I'm rubbing my hands together because I love, where the coach is headed. I'm seeing these celebrities out here, they're even working with these banks that don't look like you and I. And I'm not saying that, your company should be celebrity focused, but I'm wondering these people who have these high profile, platforms, um, have you had an opportunity to speak with, the influencers of the culture? And is anybody seeing this in the same way that I am?
Yeah, yeah. What I would say is, uh, I've been pleasantly surprised by some of the response that we've gotten from a few of the folks that we've spoken to.
Okay.
And so I would say there's some really cool things to come.
Awesome.
But with that being said, uh, if you know anybody, if any of the listeners know anybody, definitely send them our way
Okay.
because we definitely, we need all the love and the support we can get. And I don't pretend to be as big as a Wells Fargo or Chase or a Capital One. But with if we do this together as a family,
Mm-hmm.
we will be. And I can also see one day where you see those ads on TV and they're speaking for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and how cool and how crazy would that be to see how full circle it's come where we're using our celebrity to help uplift a community,
Yeah.
and take care of each other. And so, I definitely think it'll be powerful. I can't wait to see the day. But I will also say
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for those guys going out getting their bag,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
taking care of their families.
I get it.
Yeah, I completely get it as well. What I just hope is that in absence of you seeing the some of the bigger celebrities on our platform today, people just give us a shot
Mm-hmm.
and see, how amazing we are. If we suck, you never have to use us again.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're great, then please spread the word. You will see some really cool partners, evangelists, you name it, joining us along the journey, of which I'm sure I don't even know some of them today.
Right.
But, once the word gets out and once people see what we're doing, they'll want to be a part of this.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. So somebody's listening right now. They're excited. They are saying, "Well, how do I get involved?" Right. So, what does that look like? Well, what is the process from step one to whatever the final step is of working with your bank and partnering with your bank on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I would say, and this process is consistent no matter whether you don't have a bank account today, whether you or whether you do. It's a super simple process. All you have to do is go to grindbanking.com. It takes less than 5 minutes for you to sign up. You go through your standard process where you apply. We do mobile verification. We may need to do some secondary verification because we want to make sure we are matching the account to the right people, right? But it's a super simple process. Just go to the website. It's quick, and then after you do that, your card will come soon thereafter. If you want to make it super easy for you to get money on your account, all you have to do. So maybe I'll break it down this way.
Sure.
You sign up for the card.
Okay.
Card shows up in the mail. Before the card ever shows up in the mail, download that app. So go to the App Store, download it.
Okay.
So by the time when your card arrives, you set up your card, and then you can load money on your card by either going to store, or you can do an ACH transfer, so you can PayPal money on your account, you can Venmo money on your account. If your friend or family member is a Grind Banking member already, they can send money directly to you. And the easiest way, the way that I would recommend, is set us up on direct deposit. So when you get your card mailer in the mail, your card will be, of course, stuck to the sheet of paper that'll give you a lot of cool, fun facts about the brand. But at the bottom of it, you'll see a direct deposit slip. So make sure it'll be pre-populated. So super simple. All you have to do is separate it and then turn it into your HR manager. And then you have your money 2 days early. It's consistent. It'll be loaded there. And then you never have to worry about doing any other methodology. So, and then you can track it on a day-to-day basis.
And when you say track it, where am I tracking it at?
You can track
On
it
the app.
on your mobile app.
Okay.
So when you log in, it's real time, up to date, and then you'll be able to see, transactions on your account. You'll see your current balance. You'll see, freeze and all the other cool features that we have. And then you can also, when you load money in your account, feel free to keep loading it back up. And it's a great tool. So you'll find it super simple when you go through the process. Love your feedback, love any, for you and or your listeners, if there's anyone out there who goes through the process, feel free to, definitely provide perspective. We are obsessed with supporting you guys and taking care of the community.
Awesome. It definitely sounds simple enough. I love the fact that that you've centered it around having the app, and because I know that's where everything's going, and it really already is. It's not even going anymore. If you don't have a centralized location such as an app or at least a very well-defined website, you're behind the eight ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to use your product and live with it for a while. And I challenge everyone and empower everyone. If you are a Black Equity listener, you need to be banking Black. And also, you need to be having the best product out. And so I believe that we have both of that in this product. So let me ask you this. I know we're coming to the end of this episode. What do you hope to see in the fintech space? What do you hope to see in banking space for those who are on the rise and they're launching their own companies and they're building their own space within the space? What do you hope to see for those other founders that are coming behind you?
Yeah, I hope to see that we carve an easier path for them. So hopefully they're trailblazers long before me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure the marathon continues, and I pick up the baton where I can. And I hope that the other startup folks and the other entrepreneurs, I even saw something about a different ad, where they were talking about African American entrepreneurs. What I would say is stay strong, stay committed to your process.
Mm-hmm.
It is tough, launching anything. And, and being an entrepreneur and a startup person, it sounds really cool and very aspirational. But what I would say is, for all of the great times, it is tough sometimes. And you have to stick to it. We're no stranger to resilience. We're no stranger to strength. And so we have to remind ourselves we're built for this. In that, stick to designing a great product first.
Definitely.
It's all about your product, and so stick to that, and then start to reach out and do other things to get the awareness out. But if you start at the core of what it is you do it to the best of your ability that you possibly can.
What do you think has been one of the major challenges you faced getting Grind Banking to the launch stage? What was one of the things that you had to overcome?
Yeah, I would say there are always challenges in any business where when you're launching something, it never quite works as smoothly as you hope it will. Um, we took a long time to launch because we wanted to make sure we did it right. So we tested and tested and tested. Um, and so, I would say, this is a long road. So you also have to be patient with yourself and understand that, don't be afraid to remind yourself why you started the journey in the first place, right?
Right.
Um, and so I would say stick to it. And then I would also say, it's very common knowledge that African American startups have a harder time, or are under invested in versus the rest of the companies in the marketplace.
Hmm.
And so, when we were going through our stages of, um, trying to raise funds, we had a really hard time. Uh, I was fortunate and blessed to be able to stick to the path. And so there was no turning back for me. And so I stuck to it. Um, but what I would say is, that was one of the other things that was a little bit more challenging, which is like, hey, this is a great product, great team. We're doing the right thing. We have, we check all the boxes, but we still had, somewhat, we weren't as well received as I would have thought we would have been from the VC or venture capital community. But with that being said, we never wavered. We never questioned whether this was a right thing. We just, kept our head down, and kept our head to the focus on where we were heading. And so, I feel very thankful and honored to now be introduced to the world, and for customers already to be sending some, very positive testimonials and showing the love already, and to be building a critical mass of what the new Renaissance will be, which is
Right.
us, truly putting our money where our mouth is, truly committing to themselves, and truly committed to the community, and looking out for each other.
How did it feel being featured in some of these publications? People are picking up your story and learning about, to me, what is groundbreaking, is pioneering. And so, how does that feel to know that no matter what happens, you're a part of history?
Yeah, yeah, I would say it's so humbling, and I feel so thankful, not because of me, but more so because of the team that I've
Hmm.
assembled, and the people, that I go to battle for, and the community that I go to battle for, daily. It's great to see it being so well received, with us growing as fast as we're growing. It just feels so humbling. I can't really even put it in words probably effectively. I should get like a writer or something to say it more eloquently. But I would just say feel so thankful, and it's really cool to see that we are, a part of the community. It is really cool to be recognized by broader publications and broader media conglomerates.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I think the testimonials and the people who give us feedback and show us love, and the day ones, if you will, those are the stories that just absolutely, touch me, touch my heart, and I'm so thankful of. So,
Well, we appreciate you. And we appreciate you taking the time to come on Black Equity. I know we recently had an episode about, hey, is it Black owned or is it Black targeted? And so this is a Black owned company, everyone. Uh, and so, but the best part is it's not because you guys are Black owned. It's because you have a really great product that solves a root. To me, it solves a root problem. And that's always been the key for me is your product and service really solving a root problem?
mm-hmm.
And I believe you are. And so I thank you for coming on Black Equity. The door is always open. I know things are going to be happening at a fast pace. You're going to be talking to a lot of different people. But always remember you have a home here in the next quarter and the next quarter after that.
Now
If
be
you
careful
need to,
now. I could be like that cousin, that you invite in over your house, and you're like, you got to go now. No, I'm just joking.
now, you have a home, but you ain't got the keys.
No, well, one, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for establishing a platform to have, authentic and just real conversations. And thank you for, really being, I guess, a thought leader in the space. And, DJ, you do a phenomenal job in terms of what you do. That's why this was the first. So I really appreciate you taking the time and, you developing it. I look forward to seeing you grow along with us, as well as I look forward to seeing our community continue to support each other and grow together. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, you're welcome. And if there's any conferences that that your company is attending, or if there's things that are happening in the future, please feel free to just shoot us an email, and either myself or someone that's from our network will try our best to come support and be a part of those conversations. Because I really want to make sure that we're really tuning in and paying attention to the long-term growth and the long-term health of your company. To me, this is a key moment in our culture, and we really need to be paying attention. So make sure that we keep that open line of communication.
Yeah. So the last thing I would just say is, I would love for folks if they hear us, definitely, visit the site, see if it's anything you connect with,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter whether you do have a bank account or you don't. It's never a bad thing to have a second account
Mm-hmm.
or your first, just in case it's for a rainy day. So give us a shot. I would also say definitely follow us on social media. It's Grind Banking across all the platforms. So we'd love for folks to follow us. And the last thing I'll say is, you mentioned how we're different.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear about us because we're going to be in the community. So it won't be hard to find us because we'll be everywhere. So the conferences, we'll be there. We're going to be, we may not have the biggest booth, the biggest tent.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll still be there showing love and cheering everyone on. So we'll be there. It won't be hard to find us.
Awesome. And you said the website would it be grindbanking.com?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then also download the app, and you can simply find that by typing in Grind Banking.
Yes, absolutely.
And so once they've ordered the card, they download the app. And then from there, everything else is pretty self-explanatory as far as
Activate that
downloading.
card. Yep. Activate the card, put money on it, start using it. Spend wisely.
Right.
And not all in one place unless you have to. We're here for you.
Awesome. Thank you again for coming on Black Equity, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Truly enjoyed this conversation with the CEO of Grind Banking, BC Silver. We thank him for coming on the show and having this conversation. And since having this conversation, I was able to really start studying how many people in our culture are actually underserved and unbanked. I found an article on Reuters.com. It says many minorities in the United States depend on more expensive financial services like check cashing counters, since there are fewer banks in non-white neighborhoods. Increasing access to basic banking services like checking and savings account could save individual Black Americans up to $40,000 over their lifetime, a report found. And so this right here, this conversation is solving a root problem. And this is a really groundbreaking episode, because here is an opportunity for everyone in the culture to become banked. If you're able to go ahead and request your debit card, if they're able to send you out a debit card once you've been approved through the process, here's your opportunity to become banked. And then not only banked, but then banked with a Black-owned bank. So this is a root problem that is being solved. And if you don't take this opportunity, we have to look at you and wonder, well, what's going on? Here it is. Everybody's been asking for it. But I want everyone to go ahead and head over to grindbanking.com and begin the process of supporting this business, working with this business, and partnering with this business. If you're an investor and you want to work with Grind Banking, reach out to me and let's figure out what's the best way to make that happen. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Black Equity Podcast. This has been an amazing journey of learning day by day the wealth and documenting the wealth of Black culture. I'll be back tomorrow for another great episode of Black Equity Podcast. See you then.